All right, so let's go ahead and officially start. My name is Susan Moeller. I am the Director of Marketing at Tailwind. Tailwind is the tool that feels like a marketing team. We are unifying social and email marketing in a way that makes excellence in those areas possible for very small businesses, nonprofits, and all kinds of stores out there. And I am here with Taylor Self. Taylor is the Director of Communications and Donor Relations for Cleats for Kids in Oklahoma City. Now, although our team is scattered across the US, Tailwind is based in Oklahoma City, and we connected with Taylor through our Director of Customer Operations. Cleats for Kids is something that I find really exciting. As a mom, I remember being shocked at how expensive it was to outfit my kids for soccer, and then that's when they were tiny, and the cost just kept coming. And so I am really excited about the Cleats for Kids mission, that they are able to help make sure that kids who want to participate in sports have the right kind of equipment and aren't stopped from doing that because of the cost of participation. So during her time at Cleats for Kids, Taylor has some really great accomplishments. She has been involved in refining the event and fundraising strategy for the organization. She's helped to plan and execute a 10th anniversary campaign that raised $1.2 million for the organization. And she started the Cleats for Kids Young Professional Board, which is a group of 25 peers from across the Oklahoma City community who've made a significant impact on the mission of Cleats for Kids. That's all amazing, Taylor. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about nonprofit marketing. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thanks for having me. I'm so thankful to Tailwind for this opportunity and glad to meet all of you.
Great. Well, I want to start by just giving everyone a little bit of a picture of what Cleats for Kids does. So I'm going to share my screen, and we have a short video about Cleats for Kids.
We created this special space for coaches, families, and kids to come shop for whatever sports shoes and equipment they need free of charge. This space was created especially for kids to get active and grow their minds, bodies, and characters. Even during this crazy time, we've been busier than ever. We're currently doing shopping by appointment only, and we have a full schedule of appointments almost every day. Our locker room is organized by sport. We have shoes and equipment for every sport, of every type, and in every size. We put the smaller size shoes on the bottom so little ones can reach, and the larger ones towards the top. We even have a special space for kids to try on their shoes and equipment to make sure they go home with the right fit. This is our programs coordinator, Zach Fick. Zach, why don't you tell us what you're doing?
Hey, I'm just pulling cleats for fourth grade girls soccer team, and then I'm going to go meet with the new athletic director of the public schools.
Awesome, thanks, Zach. Even though cleats is in our name, we do so much more. Back here, you'll find equipment of all kinds: helmets, bats, balls, rackets, and even socks. Down this way, you'll see our running shoes. Boys on one side, girls on the other. These shoes are perfect for kids to get active, participate in PE, and play on the playground. This is our volunteer zone. This large space is for our awesome volunteers who help us organize our inventory that we get from our donation locations and collection drives. Our volunteers come from all corners of our community: middle school students, high school students, board members, corporate teams, church groups, and more. We actually have 2 volunteers working here today, and they happen to be the co-presidents of our varsity board this year, Cooper Moody and Natalie Edmonds. Cooper, why don't you tell me about our varsity board?
Well, this year we have over 100 kids from 15 different schools, and we are so excited to get started.
Yes, we are. Natalie, tell me a little bit about this inventory you're working on today.
Throughout the year, we hold collection drives at our schools and on our sports teams. We actually just held one at my school, which is what I'm working on right now.
Awesome, thanks guys, keep up the good work. This is Taylor Self, our communications director, and today is a very special day for Taylor because this morning she received her 5-year service award. Taylor has been a vital part of the Cleats for Kids team for the last 5 years. She helped share our impactful stories with you, like you'll see behind us on our wall of fame. We wanted to present Taylor with this award to thank her for her service to Cleats for Kids and our community. Taylor, congratulations.
Thanks so much, Allison. I really like being a part of the Cleats for Kids team because I get to meet so many amazing athletes, coaches, and families from our community, and it's just the best part.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks.
Next, we're gonna head to our Simon Griner track and field room to see that special space. This program is a true collaboration between Cleats for Kids, Fields and Futures, and Red Coyote Running and Fitness, and it gets New Balance trainers and spikes to Oklahoma City Public School cross-country and track athletes. This is the room where we house and organize the trainers and spikes before they are distributed to the schools. During the last 4 years of this program in Oklahoma City Public Schools, we have seen the sports of cross-country and track grow over 200%. We wanted to give a special thank you to Dawn and Shelley Greiner for making this all possible. We wanted to show you one more space in our locker room, our Ready to Run room. The Ready to Run program was started 5 years ago when we were delivering basketball shoes to a high school and saw athletes taking off on their training run in shoes that were taped together, had no laces, or simply were not suitable for running. After that, we started getting safe running shoes to athletes so they could run and compete. This program would not be possible without our friends at Red Coyote Running and Fitness. They help collect shoes so we can stock this room. Thousands of athletes have benefited from this program, and many of them have gone to run in the state championship and have even gone to college to run.
That gives you a little bit of an idea about Taylor's work at Cleats for Kids and some of the coordination that she's involved in and the impact she's having. So Taylor, thanks for your work there. And I'm glad that the kids are getting the shoes they need. And now we would love to have you tell us more about the 4 things no one tells you about nonprofit marketing.
Of course. Thank you so much, Susan. It was interesting watching that video because it's from, it was actually a part of our virtual event that we held in 2020, which is why you see all the masks, which is why you see the hand sanitizer. It was one of our moments of pivoting, to use the word that everybody used at the time. So let me share my screen. All right. So the reason that I use this title of the 4 things that no one tells you about nonprofit marketing is because the following tips that I'm about to share with you were kind of taken on the job, if so to speak. I did not go to school for communications. I kind of lucked into working in nonprofits and discovered that I absolutely loved being able to make an impact with the 40 hours a week that I'm given. So I have worked in nonprofits for about 10 years now, and I'm super thankful for everyone that has kind of taught me some of these tips along the way. I really am indebted to a lot of the people that have helped me throughout my time at Cleats for Kids, especially. And so you'll see kind of a lot of that influence in what I'm about to share with you. So we kind of already talked about Cleats for Kids' mission, but before we get really deep into the marketing talk, I wanted to share even just a little bit more. So the locker room that you just saw is going to be our crown jewel. It is the basis of what we do. It is ground zero for our mission, and that's why I wanted to start with that video. I think that it's a great way to see what we do firsthand, to kind of give you a picture on what we work with every day. So Cleats for Kids empowers kids to learn life lessons and live a healthier lifestyle through sports by providing sports shoes and equipment free of charge. We want kids to be able to witness the power of sports and that transformational change that can happen from the lessons that they learn, the role models that they're exposed to, et cetera. And we noticed, and Stacy and Mark, the founders, noticed that in Oklahoma City and in our community, there were a lot of kids who weren't able to take advantage of that because of financial circumstance, zip code, school they went to, et cetera. And so this is about leveling that playing field and getting more kids in the game. Also, as you see, Cleats for Kids is able to do this through connection with our community. We do collection drives, we do donation drop-offs, which is really a great way to partner with local businesses and folks who are interested in supporting our mission. In-kind donations are huge for us, and that's kind of what you're seeing at work there. So knowing a little bit more about Cleats for Kids, I'm going to get a little bit into our marketing philosophy. This is what really guides everything that I do as a marketing professional and for Cleats for Kids. So we rely on a few main concepts that you'll see listed down below. These concepts are what really we try to carry this on as a theme through everything that we do. So those themes are inclusion, kid-forward design, and transparency. Inclusion is important. We want our community to know that we are here to help anyone. We do not discriminate, of course. Kid-forward design is going to be super important because everything that we do is for kids. That we kind of view that as long as you can make sure that everything you do is to help kids, then you're always going to be kind of on target for what you're supposed to be doing. Mission drift is real in the nonprofit sector, and you just always kind of got to keep your eye on the prize a little bit, and that would be our prize. We try to reinforce, again, these concepts and the way that those concepts make you feel in everything that we do. And I use that term, the way they make you feel, because I think that that is the key for a successful marketing plan, is really taking into account people's feelings, people's perspectives, and finding a way to reinforce or emphasize those things. And I also think that this philosophy can be applied to any project that you're doing. It could be applied to a fundraising event like my 10th anniversary campaign. It could be applied to a product launch. It could be applied to even just a program launch or something new that you're trying. So at the end of the day, I think that the takeaway there is that your mission-focused brand is going to be your strongest asset. And so anything you can do to bolster that brand, to protect that brand, and to share that brand are going to be super important to your success. So now we're going to get into the 4 steps. Again, these are completely simplified, so this could, I think that I could talk about this for much longer, but I wanted to just kind of distill this down into 4 easy steps to get you started. First is going to be identifying your stakeholders. What you're seeing here are actually 2 people who are important stakeholders for Cleats for Kids. They come from our community partners at the Thunder. We love our partnership with the Thunder. We love our partnership with all agencies and businesses in Oklahoma City. It's really what makes us strong, the ability to link arms and work together. However, when you've got so many people kind of in your circle here, you've got to make sure that you are considering all of their needs, interests, etc. So stakeholders can be, I'm sorry, I'm just switching my notes here. Whoop. So stakeholders can be donors, board members, volunteers, clients, community partners, and more. And each of them is going to have a unique perspective. And you need to take that into consideration, including what they're interested in, how they like to interact with the org, also their age, their demographic. It's important to remember this because if you could be putting out that message as till you're blue in the face, but if you're not putting it out in a way that these stakeholders are going to interact with it, then it's a waste. So an example of that would be, let's say you've got a board member, a new board member that's just joined your org. They might be more data focused and they want no more than 1 email to read per month. That's important. We don't want to overload someone with emails. A volunteer, on the other hand, they might care more about seeing the impact of their volunteer work, and they love to be on social media. Even still, a donor might want to hear about a life that was changed, but they're from an older generation and they don't really love social media. It's not a thing that they are super into, so they prefer a personal note. We also then have community partners who want to hear about partnerships they could get in on or replicate, but they aren't able to donate anything other than awareness raising. So these are just a few examples of different stakeholders and the way that they may want to interact with your organization. So by separating your stakeholders and identifying what they care about, you're going to be able to cultivate those different relationships accordingly and successfully. So in order to kind of clarify this, I actually came up with a little bit of a metaphor. So stick with me. Imagine that you are cooking like a huge multi-course meal for your family. Let's say it's maybe Thanksgiving. You've got your whole stove in front of you. You've got your gravy, you've got your turkey in the oven, you've got your potatoes boiling, you've got a salad dressing that you're making, mac and cheese, etc. All of these things are cooking at once. And you, as the one cook, need to be able to be making adjustments, making sure that this one's warm, making sure that you get enough salt in there, making sure that the turkey's not overcooking. A lot of this involves multitasking, and it involves developing relationships, developing a soft touch. I think that's what I try to do. So when I've got a huge list of stakeholders in front of me, I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? We're going to go over here. We're going to go over here. We're going to go over here. You kind of have to multitask, but I also think that if you provide that kind of tailored experience, or at least the illusion of one, those people are going to feel connected to your organization and they're going to feel connected to you. So don't forget the stovetop metaphor. That's what I'm leaving you with this slide. So step 1, identify your stakeholders. Once you've done that, step 2 is going to be about picking your platform or your platforms. So what I like to do there is we've got our stakeholders over here, and then we've got all of the different ways that we can communicate with them over here. So that could be a newsletter, it could be social media, it could be a website, a blog, a podcast, all different methods of ways. I mean, we know from living in the world right now, the amount of media that we can interact with, both digitally, hard copy, emotionally, it's just all over the place. And so I think that it's important to not get overwhelmed with that. What you'll want to do is once you've got your two lists, the goal is to find a platform or method for each stakeholder. So this person loves social media, this person loves notes. We're going to make sure that we've got those things touched on in our platforms. Now, the thing that I would recommend is finding ways to double up. So you've got newsletters that are going to hit stakeholders groups A and B. That's great. You always want to be able to, it's kind of like doubling up is going to allow you to do less, which I think is important. So really spending the time to figure out who is digesting your information through what platform is going to help you trim the fat, so to speak. So you might have one like YouTube. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe people aren't really interacting. So maybe you can put less time into that. We at Cleats for Kids have a super small team. It is just me. So it's really important to keep track of that for me. Again, I wanted to let you know that this is scalable. You can apply this method to specific projects or events within your organization, and it can be kind of modular in that way. So step 3 is going to be about consistency. This is something that I have found is super important. So once you've gotten your plan in motion, it's important to be consistent because it keeps people's attention. Actually, experts suggest that it takes between 7 and 12 touches, is what they call it, or interactions with an organization for a donor to make the decision to support that organization. So even then, even once you get them to start donating to your organization, it's important to keep them engaged as well. If you are posting a bunch on social media or you've engaged with this donor after they've donated and then you drop off the face of the earth, they're going to forget about you. I think it's important to continuously engage in unique ways, but you don't have to break your back over it either. I would find a routine that works for your team as well as your stakeholders. So again, I'm a small team, so I treat Cleats for Kids social media, for instance, as kind of almost like a rolling deadline. I just view it as like, okay, here are all of the things that need to be shared at some point. Here are some things that are time sensitive. And I find ways to just always make sure that I've got content that I can put out. So like today, do I have anything to post? Yes, I do. I think that I actually have been working with with an intern who's been helping me create social media content. So I give her projects that are not as time sensitive as, say, an initiative that I'm working on right now with our annual giving campaign. Again, it's really can be tailored to your team, to their size and the way that you guys work, because it shouldn't be overwhelming, but it can be. Next up, my final step is going to be emphasizing the human aspect of your mission. The human part of your mission is going to be the strongest one for you to rely on. People love to hear stories. People also really love to hear stories where they get to be the hero, or even the presence of a hero can help, but if they get to be the hero, even better. Connecting to your audience with the human aspect of your mission is super important because it makes it real to the people that you're talking to. So I actually wanted to take this opportunity to share one of our human aspects to our stories. On this slide, you're going to see our founder, Stacey McDaniel. She's the woman in the red. She's standing next to a boy named Ethan. We met Ethan, it was last month. Yeah, it was in September, at our YMCA 3rd and 4th grade league distribution. So what we're doing with this 3rd and 4th grade league is providing low cost and free shoes to kids who are in 3rd and 4th grade to play sports. This is before school sports are available to them. So it allows a lot of these kids to play sports for the first time. Flag football, I think we were doing right now, volleyball, as well as cross country. So Ethan came up to us and really marched right up to the table. And he goes, "Hey, my name's Ethan, and I'm playing flag football for the first time." And we were like, "Oh, all right, my friend, let's get you your shoes." So we get him his shoes, and as we're talking and putting the shoes on him and making sure they fit, I think we had to try a different couple sizes. We're talking to his parents, and he actually, not 2 months before that, had gone through open heart surgery. So He had a super rare heart condition that he had to recover from. And they were worried at the time that he went through that surgery. They were like, is he ever going to be able to play sports like a kid wants to? Because Ethan really loves to be active. He hadn't had a chance to play sports yet, but they were worried that this had taken that opportunity away from him. However, with the YMCA, we were able to provide him that experience, and it really meant a lot to Ethan and a lot to his family, and a lot to us too. I mean, meeting families and hearing those stories that are happening in our community not only makes this job worthwhile for me, but it also makes it real to the people that I'm trying to share with, you know? So that's Ethan. We're actually looking forward to keeping track of him and keeping up with him over the next couple of years. He's so sweet, like sweetest kid I've ever met. So that's one of the many human aspects that I've been able to uncover through Cleats for Kids mission. Now, this kind of instance came out of nowhere. Sometimes stories are like that. Sometimes you got to go digging a little bit. It can seem overwhelming as well, especially if you've got a lot on your plate in terms of other tasks. Going and uncovering these human stories, you're like, I don't have time. I can't go to the school and have these conversations. I know that that's something that I experienced, and it's super easy to be like kind of frozen a little bit, like, oh my gosh, how do I talk to these people? Where do I talk to these people? What's happening? And so what ended up helping us at Cleats for Kids is creating a culture of sharing. So every week we have got a team meeting, and you don't need to be the only person gathering these stories. In fact, you really can't be. You won't be if you're just in the marketing team and you're not having as much face time with program staff or programs recipients, then you're not really going to have the opportunity. So I would get in touch with your program staff, get in touch with the people who are on the ground doing the work if you are not, and ask them to just ask certain questions, take certain pictures, empower them to have those discussions. Because as people who work in nonprofits, we love to connect to people, and they do too. So I would just encourage everyone on your team to help you with that, because when you've got good content, everybody wins. So that don't be afraid to ask for help. I'd love to answer questions. And also, if you haven't dropped questions in the chat and you want to ask some offline, I wanted to provide my email address as well as the Cleats for Kids website. So feel free, if you've got questions about Cleats for Kids, I really encourage you to visit our social media, and our website can provide some good examples of content that we've created. You can go to our blog as well to kind of see the certain stories that we highlight. And also, if you've got a marketing question, I'd love to connect with you, and feel free to email me.
Taylor, thank you. I think what Cleats for Kids is doing is fabulous. You obviously have a tremendous amount of knowledge and skill, and I really appreciate you sharing your time with us today. Thank you.
I appreciate all of you as well. Thanks for letting me talk your ears off for 15 minutes.
It was great. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Talk soon. Bye-bye.